Hello everyone, this is Crota, gonna give you a tutorial between Zenith and Kyle here on Lost Temple. We have Kyle spawning as the purple Protoss over here at the 1 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Zenith spawning here as the blue Terran. Now, if you have not seen this replay or you just want to see the shoutcast of this replay, head over to the new SC Legacy channel. I'm starting to run out of a lot of the videos that I can view, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do a shoutcast on one and then follow it up if I think the game is good with a tutorial. And I really like what Kyle Prime did in this particular game. Now, one of the things that you're going to notice Kyle do is Kyle's going to be starting to build his pylons in the back of this base. What this limits is it limits the amount of Hellion and Reaper harass that can really come into the base. So units are really hard to get in and around and maneuver. He'll then also follow it up with a gateway right here, and then I believe with a cybernetics core over here. So there's really no decent position unless you run all the way around the back, pretty much exposed on Lost Temple to try to figure out, torch some of these probes. So very nicely done. I'm going to go ahead and explain this build order. He's going to go for a 13 gateway. So what this means is he's going to continue to build probes, right? And then at 150 minutes, he's going to go back there, drop another gateway, and then probably start chrono boosting right after here, in order to make sure that he keeps up with his probes. In the early portion of the game, you want to make sure that you never ever have a building that's being chrono boosted if it's not producing something. Back over here, you do see the Vespene Geyser now being laid down, the assimilator on the Vespene Geyser, in order to get some additional gas. Now, I forgot to mention this earlier, this tutorial is brought to you by LU Computers. Go ahead and visit their website if you have the chance, and they have a link on the top right hand side of the main page for computers that can play StarCraft 2 fairly well. And yeah, nice. Also, another thing that you see Kyle do is Kyle comes in and he drops an assimilator right here in order to deny the gas of Zenith. Now, as a Terran player, you really need your gas, otherwise you're really pretty much supply locked for quite some time. And because the assimilator has 900 hit points, it takes quite some time to really take it down. Now, what's going to end up happening is that Zenith will not be able to get his factory nearly as early, so he's going to be forced to do a little bit more Marauder play. Back over here, you see that the cybernetics core is laid down and another pylon being laid down here, so this pretty much limits any movement along the backside. No Reapers, no Hellion harass. I really like this build. Now, another thing that you're going to notice is Kyle's going to be saving up his energy on his Nexus to start chrono boosting the cybernetics core and the gateway. Well, he should be chrono boosting the cybernetics core in order to get that warp gate research much more quickly. That warp gate research is so critical. Now Marine going to be able to take down that last probe. But you can see that this assimilator is sitting on 400 or 900 hit points essentially. It will take quite some time for Zenith to really be able to even get this down. His factory is going to be a little bit later, and that's all going. And Zenith is also getting an early Reaper, or sorry, a late Reaper. That late Reaper is there more to get a decent idea of what exactly is happening in the base of Kyle Prime. Kyle pretty much had, if you take a look at Zenith's scouting, Zenith so far got no scouting inside so far, and he tried to get an SCV into the base. He doesn't know what Kyle's going for. He could be going Void Rays, could be going for a number of things. Second thing, he notices that there's a Reaper already here, so as soon as the Reaper's there, he comes over, brings in a Stalker, does a little bit of that move and attack, and is able to take down that Stalker, so very nicely done, and then sets up 2 gateways. So 2 gateways, and then he's going to go for a 3rd gateway into a Twilight Council. Now, this Twilight Council is a very nice play. Usually you see more of a 4-gate push. This is going to be a 3-gate push with Stalker Blink. That's one of the reasons why I really like this particular replay, really like this strategy. The Terran players really like to sit very fortified in their base, sitting with Marauders and bunkers and 1 or 2 siege tanks. As long as you can have faster movement against the Terran player, say with Mutalisk, say with Phoenix, say with Stalkers with Blink, you are able to really put a lot of pressure on your opponent. Gonna go ahead and speed up this replay a little bit to get it a little bit more quickly. We also see Kyle setting up a nice proxy pylon right here in order to be able to warp in some additional units. That proxy pylon is viewable, or Zenith does know about it, but he's really not dealing with that proxy pylon, and that's going to really come back to haunt him. You see that there's chrono boosting the blink right now. That blink takes 110 time, and now in comes one Hellion, and you're gonna see how pretty much ineffective this Hellion is, because he doesn't have any real positioning to move. Trying to splash damage, trying to get a couple shots off, all he did was remove the shields on a couple probes, and that was it. Back over here, you see Kyle just continuing to get more and more stalkers. Taking a look at the unit count right now, 6 stalkers, and taking a look at the armory, Zenith is now sitting on 2 bunkers, knowing that he needs to get into this position. Now watch this move right here. Look at Kyle. Kyle coming around, decide not to chase down that SCV, gets an additional stalker, and now there's a Marauder. He doesn't even really care about the Marauder, puts up a Guardian shield, gets sight into the blaze, and then blinks in. And this just makes all the static defense of Zenith pretty much nullified. He's going to be able to come in now and then finish off more of these Marauders, and then try to pull away from these bunkers. So these bunkers are stationary and not really able to do much. And now you see these stalkers just fighting back, getting out of the range of those bunkers, able to move and attack, focusing on those SCVs, and then blinking again. Viking on that ground mode to try to come in and join in on that fight. But you're going to still see more blinking. Really, really great play by Kyle. So Kyle really focusing down critical units, making sure to get down the mule, because the mule is essentially 300 minerals if you catch it towards the front end. And now more stalkers coming in once again. So stalkers continuing to come in, and more blinking, and just Kyle is just wreaking havoc inside the space. You can see that he has a smaller army, those Marauders and those Marines trying to catch up to those stalkers, but that blink is just way too much. And then you're going to see another brilliant blink, blinking 2 very low hit point units away, and then blinking that 3rd one. So Stalker Micro just absolutely amazing. And then by the time that this harassment is done, it's 33 Harvesters compared to 26, and now Kyle's once again pressuring on this front door. And Kyle is able to, one of the things I wish Kyle did, and let me go ahead and pause this, is that you can see on his Nexus, he is now sitting full on, nearly full in terms of how much energy he has on that Chrono Boost, sitting at 88 over 100. If he starts chrono boosting these warp gates, he will be able to reduce the cooldown on them and then continue to produce out units much more quickly. He has the minerals, he's getting additional pylons in order to make sure he's not supply locked, and just another way that Kyle could make this harassment even better. I'm going to go ahead and continue the replay even further, perhaps speed it up as the stalkers just continue to move on in. These bunkers are really in the wrong position here. These bunkers sitting here when these supply depots are the weakest part really makes it difficult for these Marines and those Marauders to really get in position here. You're going to see these stalkers should be able to continue to blink away, and now you can see all of a sudden that Zenith is down to 120 minerals a minute, and that is very, very low. And now Kyle is just waiting to get up to critical mass, going to be able to warp in more units. There was a little bit of Marauder and medevac action earlier up here, but that really didn't matter all that much. He was able to get the medevac, take down that Marine, and really 35 Harvesters compared to 21. There's a significant gas difference as well. And yeah, significant gas difference as more and more units are just going to be moving on in. Marauders with that range of 7 in that bunker, but still coming over to try to repair that supply depot isn't going to do that much, because these stalkers are able to just blink past those supply depots. And now it's just going to be sheer numbers for the Protoss players. Protoss player Marauders are supposed to counter stalkers very easily, but because of the sheer numbers of stalkers that Kyle was able to continue to push out, 1,000 army versus a 0 army for Zenith. Zenith is going to have to make a little sad face and call GG. Anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and hope you guys enjoyed this replay brought to you by lucomputers.com.